I need to be rid of this. She created this sculpture
What's
based on the way she felt about me,
It's me.
and it was a lie.
Y'all miss me?
I agree. It was a lie. It was a little
Sandra.
late.
You guys Sandra's not
Okay,
your
y'all are
name?
getting a little chatty.
What is it? What do you go by? San San? Okay then. San San, can you move all that? For real quick.
So
Real quick.
he tells her the truth.
Say hi to YouTube. Say hi. There you go.
Think back to when
Am I
her
pretty,
dad come
San
back
San?
after having been missing. She walked in the door, and how did she say her dad looked?
You're lying.
Why do you think he looked younger in her eyes?
Hey, Shadow.
Thank you. Once he threw that statue in the water, he knew he had to tell
Bro,
Eddie the
someone
truth.
fucking,
I mean, there was no getting away from
someone
it.
fucking threw up
And it was like just
in
a total
math
waste.
class.
There should be no talking while we're having the class.
Girl.
All right, so it lifted a ton of weight off of
Anyways,
his shoulders to get rid of that guilt he'd been carrying
You have
around
something.
for so long. All right. So that's probably why he looks younger. He's probably
Anyways.
happier and relieved. So you know, he didn't
Someone
want her to
fucking
sell the
threw up in
statue.
math class.
We know why.
That shit was
And then he calls
disgusting.
his wife, Mama, at home, and she gets onto him.
And then they
What did
just
we find
stood
out
there
about
watching it.
Mama?
Yeah.
Her mother, Mom. Remember, she calls her parents Mama and Poppy.
Mama.
How
and
does she
Papa.
act on the phone? When her husband says, I'm back, I'm home, I'm okay.
It's your ass.
She was very anxious, wasn't she? And she kind of got onto him. Like, don't you ever do that again.
What's
So
up?
we can put, what do you gather?
I don't like.
She should be on your chart too. You can put the mother. Yeah, mom. And you can put on there, you can put on there.
This is
the
the
last
smallest
one
necklace
have
I
there,
ever seen.
That she, the dad
And I
says
did not know
she
it was gonna turn
panics
out like
so
that.
easily and she's got a quick temper.
Yeah.
That would be direct because the dad says,
It's alright.
he says she has a quick temper. Right. And that she panics easily. That's on your chart on the front of the
School's
page.
going alright.
Direct, yeah, the direct characterization.
What?
I got nothing on the paper.
Oh. I was about to say imagine, but I don't have one either. What's her name?
Miss Cole, I guess.
Miss Cole. Can I get one of these papers?
I don't got nothing on my paper. I don't got no paper.
Thank you.
How you don't got one? You be skipping class?
What do you mean? Oh, these are the papers that they gave us yesterday. I was here. I just have it in my book bag. And I was sleeping yesterday. I wasn't even listening. That's how bored I was.
Were they going to Gabrielle Fontenot's house?
How do you? I wouldn't say I look fine, but I'm alright.
You don't do nothing like this in this Garnett's class.
Did he talk about the judgment of
What did I
the
do?
dead and how they went to the museum?
A lot of stuff about this.
Well, this is something different. Ma'am,
We're gonna start at about line 79.
you can't go back to Miss Garnett's class.
Can
Can't.
Short story by Edward Scandica. My father is gone.
Ain't Garnett the one, the
says-
teacher over there?
When I first saw your
oh, we're
statue,
down the hall.
I wanted to be
Beside
buried with
Miss
it,
Simmons.
to take it with me into the other world. Like the ancient Egyptians, I said.
Isn't it across Spanish?
Grateful, I think, that I still recall his passions.
Like the class is right here.
He
It's
asks,
across here.
do you remember when I read to you from the Book of the Dead? Are you dying? I say to my father. Because I can only forgive you for this if you are. You can't take this back. He is silent for a moment too long. I think I hear crickets, though I cannot imagine where they might be. There is the highway, the cars racing by, the half moon, the lake dug up from the depths of the ground, the alley of royal palms beyond, and there is me and my father. You remember the judgment of the dead,
I
my
got
father
somebody.
says. When the heart of a person is put on a scale, if it is heavy, then this person cannot enter the other world.
I can't say who it is, but
It is a testament to my upbringing that I am not yelling at him. I don't deserve a
I got
statue,
somebody.
he says, even while looking like one. The Madonna of Humility, for example, contemplating her losses in the dust.
Okay.
Annie, your father was the hunter, he says. He was not the prey.
What does he mean?
Oh yeah, oh,
He
210.
was the guard.
Spanish is 211. Miss Velez.
Hello.
What are you saying?
It's a cross. It's a cross. Yeah.
We have a proverb, he says. One day for the hunter, one day for the prey. Your father was the hunter,
I can't move
he
anywhere.
was not the prey. Each word is hard won as it leaves my father's mouth, balanced like those hearts on the Egyptian scale. Annie, when I saw your mother the first time, I was not just out of
I
prison.
can't really say that.
I was a guard in the prison.
I
One of
guess.
the prisoners I was questioning had scratched me with a piece of tin. I went out to the street in a rage, blood all over my face. I was about to go back and do something bad, very bad. But instead comes your mother. I smashed into her, and she asked me what I am doing there. I told her I was just let go from prison, and she held my face and cried in my hair. And the nightmares? What are they? Of what I, your father, did to others. Does my mom know? I told her, Annie, before we married. I am the one who drives back to the hotel. In the car, he says, Annie, I am still your father, still your mother's husband. I would not do these things now. When we get back to the hotel room, I leave a message for Officer Bowe and another for Manager Salinas, telling them that I have found my father. He has slipped into the bathroom, and now he runs the shower at full force. When it seems that he is never coming out, I call my mother at home in Brooklyn.
That's crazy.
How do you love him? I whisper into the phone. My mother is tapping her fingers against the mouthpiece. I don't know, Annie, she whispers back, as though there is a chance that she might also be overheard by him. I feel only that you and me, we saved him. When I met him, it made him stop hurting the people. This is how I see it. He was a seed thrown into a rock, and you and me, Annie, we helped push a flower out of the rock.
Okay, so now Annie knows the truth. Her father.
Why did you
How do you
delete
think
it?
Annie is?
Oh,
How do you think Annie is?
14.
all I'm gonna say is you're
No, the
alright.
girl that did the sculpture. Her dad's
He
64
keeps
now.
licking
Come on,
it.
guys.
She's like 34.
I'm thinking she's
You got
probably around 30-ish, give or take a few years.
I'm sorry. I don't like when
She's
people look
older,
at
she
it.
works in a school, she's an art teacher, she teaches drawing to fifth graders. She works in
Thinks it's
elementary
funny.
school, remember that? Her dad's 64.
Oh.
And so, well, yeah, because he's older and she wants to make sure
You did
that,
not
that
do
he's
that for me?
safe. So now she knows the truth, but here's another thing. Her mother didn't tell her either, did she? Her mother knew the truth. But her mother didn't tell her the truth. I wonder why. Why do you think the mother didn't tell her the truth? She didn't want what? She may not want her to be upset with her dad. And it was, whose secret was it to tell? It was his to tell, not hers. It might have made him angry at her, and she didn't want to get her husband angry at her. All right, so
What
now,
is y'all doing?
all that's down in the open.
Shouting.
So now they have to deal with another conflict. Now she's got to go to Gabrielle Fontenot's house, the famous Haitian actress, and tell her the statue's gone. So let's pick up from here.
When I get up the next morning, my father is already dressed. He is sitting on the edge of his bed with his back to me, his head bowed, his face buried in his hands. If I were sculpting him, I would make him a praying mantis, crouching motionless, seeming to pray while waiting to strike.
Oh, what did she just say? If I were to sculpt him now, she sculpted him before, and what was the sculpture? What did it look like? No clothes on, crouched over, hands like this, like he's protecting himself. Like he's been beat, when somebody's trying to cover themselves to keep from being beaten,
Yeah.
and now she's like he was vulnerable,
But,
like he was a victim. She said, now if I would sculpt him,
Like.
how would she sculpt him? I would make him a praying mantis, which is a bug that looks like a stick, and his hands are like this, his front claws or whatever like this, and they wait and they attack. They look like a
Anyways.
stick, so you don't know what they're describing. So I would make him a praying mantis, crouching motionless, seeming to pray.
I don't see what you
while
sent me,
waiting to
Drake. Oh,
strike.
there.
So seeming innocent, but really
Oh, he
waiting
playing for
to
me.
get on somebody. So her attitude and her perception of her dad it's changed dramatically, has it?
You said what?
Okay? You think she's afraid of him or just mad as
I
I
know
don't know
you're
what?
fucking lying. I text you a lot.
She's mad. She's angry.
I know.
Okay, here we go.
I
With his
text
back
you
still turned,
so
my father
much.
says, will you call those people and tell them you have it no more? The
You're
statue?
telling me I don't text you. You
We
tell
were
me I
invited to
don't.
lunch there. I
After
believe
that.
we should go. He raises his shoulders and shrugs. It is up to me. The drive to Gabrielle Fontenot's house seems longer than the 24 hours it took to drive from New York. The ocean, the palms along the road, the highway, so imposingly neat. My father fills in the silence in the car by saying, so now you know, Annie, why your mother and me, we have never returned home. The Fontenot's house
She.
is made of bricks of white coral on a cul-de-sac with a row of banyans separating the two sides of the street. Silently, we get out of the car and follow a concrete path to the front door. Before we can knock, an older woman walks out. Like Gabrielle, she has stunning midnight black eyes and skin the color of sorrel, with spiraling curls brushing the sides of her face. When Gabrielle's father joins her, I realize where Gabrielle Fontenot gets her height. He is more than 6 feet tall.
Okay, so I want you to pay close attention because this is going to help you to write some of the thematic ideas. Also, you're going to get some direct and indirect characteristics to put on your chart during this section. So listen
You're
closely.
such a big fool.
Mr. Fontenot extends his hands, first to my father and then to me. They're large, twice the size of my father's. The fingernails have grown back, thick, densely dark, as though the past had nestled itself there in black ink. We move slowly through the living room,
Listen
which
to
has a
the,
cathedral ceiling
listen to the
and
house.
walls covered with Haitian paintings. Aubin, Hippolyte, Tiga, Duval-Carrier. Out on the back terrace, which towers over a nursery of orchids and retracinas, a table is set for lunch.
Fuck.
Mr. Fontenot asks my father where his family is from in Haiti,
Oh,
and my father lies. In the past, I thought he always said a different province because he had lived in all those places. But I realize now that he says this to keep anyone from tracing him, even though 26 years and 80 more pounds shield him from the threat of immediate recognition.
So she's saying her dad has always said, when someone asked him what part of Haiti he was from, he'd say different places. And she always wondered about that, but now she knows why. He doesn't want anybody to recognize him or know who he is and know that he was a guard. Because, well, back then it was bad because they were known to treat their prisoners very badly when they were.
Interruption.
Yes,
Listen, they don't stand well up for this.
okay. Because back then, the people were fighting against their leader, who was a dictator, and he was mean and cruel. And if you worked in the prisons for the dictator, you know, you were known to do very cruel and bad things to the prisoners. So he didn't want people to know that he had been a part of that. Here we go.
When Gabrielle Fontenot
I'm
makes her
good.
entrance
How are you?
in an off-the-shoulder ruby dress, my father and I stand up. Gabrielle, she says, when she shakes hands with my father, who blurts out spontaneously, "You are one of the flowers of Haiti." Gabrielle Fontenot tilts her head coyly. "We eat now," Mrs. Fontenot announces, leading me and my father to a bathroom to wash up before the meal. Standing before a pink seashell-shaped sink, my father and I dip our hands under the faucet flow. "Annie," my father says, "we always thought,
Yeah.
your mother and me, that children could raise their parents higher. Look at what this girl has done for her parents." During
How
the
does
meal
send
of
you friend
conch,
pictures?
plantains, and mushroom rice, Mr. Fontenot tries to draw my father to conversation. He asks when my father was last in Haiti. 26 years, my father replies.
All right.
"No going back for you?" asks Mrs. Fontenot. "I have not had the opportunity," my father says. "We go back every year to a beautiful place overlooking the ocean and the mountains in Jacmel," says Mrs. Fontenot. "Have you ever been to Jacmel?" Gabrielle Fontenot asks me. I shake my head no. "We are fortunate," Mrs. Fontenot says, "that we have another place to go where we can say our rain is sweeter, our dust is lighter, our beach is prettier.
Our beach.
So now we are tasting rain and weighing dust," Mr. Fontenot says and laughs. "There is nothing like drinking the sweet juice from a green coconut you fetched yourself from your own tree, or sinking your hand in sand from the beach in your own country," Mrs. Fontenot says. "When did you ever climb a coconut tree?" Mr. Fontenot says, teasing his wife. I am imagining what my father's nightmares might be. Maybe he dreams of dipping his hands in the sand on a beach in his own country and finds that what he comes up with is a fistful of blood.
Woo. She's having some bad thoughts about her daddy. Yeah. Somebody else is calling right now. She says she imagines what her father's nightmares are and thinks, does he dream of dipping his hands in the sand on the beach of his own country and finds that he comes up with a fistful of blood? Probably before, when she was thinking of his nightmares, she probably thought he was thinking of what it was like being beaten. But now she knows otherwise. Let's finish off this story.
You get ready.
After lunch, my father asks if he can have a closer look at the Fontenot's backyard garden. While he's taking a tour, I confess to Gabrielle Fontenot
Listen,
that I don't have the sculpture.
she's telling Gabrielle.
My father threw it away, I say. Gabrielle Fontenot frowns. I don't know, she says. Was there even a sculpture at all? I trust Jonas, but maybe you fooled him too. Is this some scam to get into our home? There was a sculpture, I say. Jonas will tell you that. My father just didn't like it, so he threw it away. She raises her perfectly arched eyebrows, perhaps out of concern for my father's sanity on my own. I'm really disappointed,
Damn.
she says. I wanted it for a reason.
Send it.
My father goes home when he looks at a piece of art. He goes home deep inside himself. For a long time, he used to hide his fingers from people. It's like he was making a fist all the time. I wanted to give him this thing so that he knows we understand what happened to him. I am truly sorry, I say. Over her shoulders, I see her parents guiding my father through rows of lemongrass. I want to promise her that I will make her another sculpture, one especially modeled on her father. But I don't know when I'll be able to work on anything again. I have lost my subject, the father I loved as well as pitied. In the garden, I watch my father snap a white orchid from its stem and hold it out toward Mrs. Fontenot. who accepts it with a nod of thanks. I don't understand, Gabrielle Fontenot says. You did all this for nothing.
Thank you.
I waved to my father to signal that we should perhaps leave now,
You cool
and he
too.
comes toward me, the Fontenots trailing slowly behind him. With each step, he rubs the scars on the side of his face. Perhaps the last person my father harmed had dreamed this moment into my father's future. His daughter seeing those marks, like chunks of warm plaster still clinging to a cast, and questioning him about them, giving him a chance to either lie or tell the truth. After all, we have the proverb, as my father would say. Those who give the blows may try to forget, but those who carry the scars must remember.
So that ends the story.
Of what?
Let's look at the paper now, okay? At this point, you all should
I'm
have
not doing the
filled in
paper.
the different direct
To be
and
honest.
indirect characteristics of the characters in the story. Now, you can pick which ones you wanted, but some are obvious. Someone give me an indirect characterization of Annie. Anything.
Who?
Indirect characterization of Annie, the author, the narrator. Shouldn't say the author, I should say the narrator. Annie is the daughter. Annie is the one.
Teacher's being
telling the story.
annoying. I swear to God. She keeps sitting on the desk table. And where we at? And she be at
This
Illinois.
anime, yes. So what is an indirect characteristic of Annie?
My hair's still a little bit curly.
She was aggravated. She was aggravated.
Had it
with her
really curly in the
daddy
morning.
initially for getting, because being
And now it's
lost,
just a mess.
right?
Go to sleep, boy.
All right. She's aggravated. She's kind of frustrated with her dad. We see that about her. What does she say, and how does she describe herself when her father comes back and tells her the truth? She says she's what? This is a direct characterization. She tells us she is this. She's angry. Very good. She's angry. All right. What's the next character we're going to describe? Her father, Mr. Anime, or Poppy, what she called him. A lot of information
That was
about
me.
that direct characteristics that the story gives us. What is the direct characterization
Oh,
that the
sorry.
story gives us? Yes, it does tell us that he lies, that he's told a huge lie. But what else direct information do we find out about him? That the story just
He's
tells
tall.
us. Huh?
So,
He's 5 foot, how tall? 8?
About 5.
It says, remember how she's describing him? What do you get?
220 pounds.
Yeah. Salt and pepper hair,
Yup.
moon face. What
Brown
does it give
eyes.
somebody's moon face?
Man,
Around.
They have a round face. And she described, what was the big distinguishing feature about her dad? What was the big distinguishing feature about her dad that would make him look different than everyone else?
Scar.
Yes, the scars from the claw marks on the side of his face. All right, so now, let's look at indirect characterization of Poppy, or Mr. Deanna.
Watch it.
What do we figure out about him based
I
on
am
the
bored.
story? It doesn't come out and tell us, but
And I
we
also
know
can't
this
talk.
because of the way he acted. What is the indirect characteristics of him?
He's ashamed when he working.
He is, huh?
He's ashamed.
But
He's
what?
ashamed. He's ashamed
Yes,
of
PTSD.
himself.
Yes,
He's
PTSD.
ashamed
I am bored,
of
but I
the
can't be
job
talking.
that he
I
did
can't talk.
before as a prison guard.
Yes, PTSD.
So I'm trying my best not to get caught talking.
Yeah.
He's traumatized.
Yeah, the person. So they really not Haitian.
Excuse
They
me?
not Haitian.
It's boring as shit.
Yes, he was Haitian. Yes, he's Haitian.
So I can go with
What else do we know about your father? Is he carrying a lot of guilt? Yeah, shame, a lot of shame, a lot of guilt,
I've got
a lot of shame, a lot of guilt.
she used your Carolina Tuesday.
Let's be Gabrielle Fontenot. Who wrote down some direct characteristics about Gabrielle?
She's popular.
She's a famous celebrity
Is she an
actress.
actress? Yep.
Okay, what else, Hope?
Yes, pretty eyes.
Yes.
Her parents
She has
are from
dark,
Haiti.
almost black eyes. What else do we know about her?
Her parents are from Haiti.
Hmm?
Her parents are from Haiti.
She has Haitian parents. That's direct.
Hers.
That's direct
Oh, you say
characteristics.
indirect?
I'm just looking for indirect now.
Oh.
Yep.
She's
That's what
rich.
it says.
She comes
Yeah,
from a wealthy
you do
family.
you do get the impression, the story doesn't come out and say she's rich, but look at how they describe her home.
Yes.
It was a very nice home with expensive artwork in it. So she's wealthy, and she's tall. She's tall, that's a direct, that tells us. When she says, I see where she gets her height from her father.
She's not tall, but she, the lady that works there.
What kind of personality, think about this, what kind of personality do you think Gabrielle
She's kind of-
Fontenot has?
She's generous.
I think she's generous too. I think she's probably compassionate because when she talks to Annie, she kind of understands how Annie would have, you know, how she would have depicted her father in this Haitian prison because her father had been in a Haitian prison. But think about this too, when she talked to her on the phone, she says, when Gabrielle and Annie talked on the phone the day before, she says, why don't y'all stay for lunch? My mom makes great food. So I think she's very generous and friendly. You know? However, when they get there and she tells her there's no more sculpture, she's probably feeling a little skeptical, like, I trust Jonas, but was there ever a sculpture at all? I mean, he said there was a sculpture. And she said, well, there was, but my father didn't like it, so he threw it away. And she's thinking, because she's a famous celebrity, maybe these people are here because they just want to get money. You know what I'm saying? They just want to get money. What are some of the features of her house? What do you remember? How do you
It's
describe it?
big.
But what was specifically some things that they
Wait,
said about it?
It's the brick, light floor.
White coral brick house. Had cathedral ceilings, I mean, real high ceilings. Had a garden out back filled with orchids. Famous, paintings by famous Haitian artists. So, yeah, her home was very, very nice, very nice. So, and the last one we'll look at is the mom. If we look at the mom, what do they tell us about the mom? The dad says she panics easily and has a short temper,
Everybody's
right?
at school. Ain't nobody on.
Indirectly, do we think she's probably
Like
kind of a
usually my
nervous
shit would blow
person
up, but like
and maybe bosses her husband around? Because she gets on the phone with him and she says, where have you been? What have you been doing? Don't you ever do that anymore?
and I lost friends, so
About those.
Oh, I thought she was schizophrenic.
No, why do you say that now, Ho?
She's all over the place.
you have food.
All over.
Shit.
No,
I should have ate lunch.
she just gotta be more than that to be schizophrenic. Okay?
You ain't got water?
Do you get a good idea now of what it means to have a direct characteristic on one of the characters and indirect? Direct means it says it in the story. Somewhere in there it says, like we used before,
I need some food. I'm hungry.
they didn't say Gabrielle Fontenot is rich, did
I
they?
should have ate lunch instead of meeting him in the back way.
They said Gabrielle Fontenot is an actress on a syndicated sitcom. That means it's televised
I can't wait to
all over the
fucking go
nation,
home.
on a lot of stations across the world, really.
Is it a cat?
And then they describe her home as Hope just described.
You watching cat videos?
Then they don't tell us she's rich or wealthy, but we kind of gather that she is, right? Okay. Do y'all remember, what they said that Gabrielle's father did for a
Oh
living?
shit.